Hey everybody, this is Corey. This is EDL 853 Module 3, Special Education Personnel Interviews. For this module, I interviewed one of our vice principals who's in charge of all the special ed. I interviewed a 7th grade special education teacher and a para professional that has been in my classroom all year. So, my first question that I asked are, what are the child find procedures for special education in USD 266? I was very surprised by the differences in answers. It was kind of surprising to me how different each one of them were. Principal said that preschool, pediatricians, and different things were probably where they find most of the kids. A lot of them are found before they even enter school. So that's not such a big deal. The special ed teacher talked a little bit more about things specifically that the district does once kids are in school. So I learned a lot from both of them. And my para, she was not really sure what they did. She didn't really have any information on that, so I didn't get much out of her on that, but she had a lot of information on other things. The second question, what is the most challenging thing about your role in special education? And the principal said that the most challenging thing for her is seeing the students that use their disability as a crutch and using it as an excuse to not get to where they're going. The special ed teacher said that educating regular education teachers on special education students' needs and just dealing with time. Obviously, in everybody's job in the school, time is one of the biggest issues that we all have. The para said that her number one thing was dealing with parents. They don't always support the paras very much, so that was one of the biggest challenges for her. The most rewarding aspect of each one of them for their role in special ed, the principal just said being the bridge. Her and I talked about how it was just, you have to be there for all families, and obviously with special ed there's always going to be an in-between, so you got to just find that balance between what's truly going on. The special ed teacher said the students obviously are her favorite aspect of it. Just dealing with them on a day-to-day basis, working with teachers and parents together to reach the students' goals. The para said same thing, seeing the students achieve and exceed their goals. She said that it's very, very rewarding when you see a kid at the beginning of the year or that you've had for a couple of years that really struggles become proficient and do a lot better with what they have to do. Some of their advice on supervising special education staff, obviously the principal and the special ed teacher had a lot more to do with this one. The principal said that number one is communicate and just work together and help each other and do everything that you can, and if you don't know anything, ask. Special ed teacher said that you've got to be in control at all times, or try to be. And listen, be firm, patient, and fair with the staff. Obviously, everybody's going to have different views of what truly happened and this and that. So it's important to be patient with everything that happens. The para said that some of the staff that she works with, even some of them are awesome and do their job and do very well, while others of them are not very good at it. So just basically everybody work together. That was one of the biggest points that was brought up with supervising. The next question was, how do you work effectively with the parents? And once again, communication, communication, communication. All three of them brought up communication. So that was something that really stuck out with me. And one of the things that the special education teacher told me was that one of her favorite things that she sees is that when teachers come in the room for IEP meetings and things like that, to just give the parents a hello and smile, and focus on the good things about their children and not necessarily the bad things. It makes a big difference when you do have to talk about those tougher issues. The para said that she doesn't get to work with parents very often. She does not go to IEP meetings, which at my other school that we worked at, same thing, and I always felt like that the paras probably, when they deal with those kids a lot, I kind of wish that they were in on those conversations a little bit more than what they're used in. I think they're a great resource that obviously is not being well used if it's happened in 2 schools now that I've been to. And just communicate with with special education teachers and classroom teachers. How do you work with the regular education teachers? The principal said just encouraging them and remember to be very realistic. She said obviously she was a teacher and she remembers what it's like, and she thinks that's one of the most important things that you can do as an administrator when dealing with your reg ed teachers is just remember what it's like. Special education teacher said just, again, be open, communicate, same thing with the para. So communication obviously is a huge aspect of everything that has to do with special education. Their advice for first-year administrator was, the principal said, to find the middle. She said there's a lot of times you'll hear something from a para, you'll hear something from a student, you'll hear something from a parent. And your job as the administrator is to kind of work that out and find out exactly the truth. They're all usually telling the truth, but somewhere in between that's kind of the right spot. So, special ed teacher, get to know the people you work with, get to know your students, and ask questions if you don't know what you're doing. She said that that's one of the most important things you can do. Special ed teachers are trained and have training in special education, so if you don't know something, make sure and ask them. And our para said just be a listener, good listener, open. What's the role of the special ed teacher and the administration? The principal said that they're teammates that need to work together and they're on the same side. Same thing with the special ed teacher and same thing with the para. Provide support for special ed students so that their needs are met. Obviously, that's the role of all of them. Everybody who's involved with special ed students, we have to meet their roles and meet their IEPs. So if they can all work together, that's something that's going to be definitely a positive. Characteristics of an inspired administrator. The principal, of course, it was very interesting to hear what she thought. Finding your balance, remember what it's like to be a teacher. She brought that up several times, so that was something that stuck with me about what she had talked about. Just remember what it's like to be a classroom teacher. Don't get stuck on the outside. Classroom teachers don't have the time that administrators do to look back over things and really get an aspect of what's truly going on. Special ed teacher just said ask for help, participate, keep learning. She pointed that out, and that was a very important positive. Be caring, be friendly, and be supportive. Same thing with the parents. Support all staff. Don't let parents always run the show when you're in IEP meetings. If there's something that's important that they need to know about their kids, definitely speak up about that. And she also mentioned that you need to show respect for those that you work with at all times. So as I look back on everything that all of them talked about, the top thing that stuck out with me by far was communication. They all talked about you get into problems when you don't communicate very well with its parents, teachers, paraprofessionals, it doesn't matter. They also spoke about being a team player and just work together in everything that you do. And I kind of think that goes back to the whole communication thing as well. Ask for help, participate. A lot of them, like a lot of what they said was very interesting to me, that they really said a lot of the same things. The only thing that they were really significantly different on was the first one where they were talking about the child fine. And I think that was partially due to it was just not a great question, as far as it wasn't as specific as maybe it should have been, like how does your district specifically use child fine, or I guess something like that. The future, as far as special ed, obviously this is something that I need to work on personally. I need to continue to learn, know the laws, that way you avoid litigation, and just be aware of everything that's going on. They all talked about the co-op and how it was very important to the district because it shared costs of different things that go on inside the district regarding special education. So obviously this is something that like I said, I need to work on, and I look forward to learning more in this class. Thank you.